And action.
A European perch caught in the States? There's more to mudflats than you might think. And bluegills, they're what's for dinner. We got that and more coming up right now in Target Walleye's Top 5 presented by Seafoam. Oh, and if you hear any rappers crinkling in the background of this episode, it's because I got my cute, tiny little blonde Valentine's date with me tonight.
Hello.
Oh my god, she is so cute, I want to die.
Number 1. There's perch, there's jumbo perch, and then there's whatever the heck you'd call this thing caught recently by my buddy Danny Thompson. Definitely the paunchiest Mille Lacs Lake jumbo I have seen yet. He caught his new PB perch using a Super Glow Exo Chartreuse color Northland Buckshot rattle spoon, which looks a little something like this. Danny said the key was using a bigger bait. Maybe not why you would think. He was originally tipping with waxworms, but couldn't keep the zillions of tiny walleyes off. So he switched to plastics and that bigger spoon so that he could keep his bait down there long enough for those jumbos to come strolling through in schools. Cracked his new personal best. He also said prior to setting up shop, he's running and gunning with Garmin's new Panoptix PS22 ice fishing bundle, which he says keeps him mobile when chasing these perch because you're either on them or nowhere near them, it seems. If you haven't heard of that new Garmin unit yet, it's a compact, portable, touchscreen live sonar unit with forward and down modes that does not have a transducer pole. It isn't meant to replace live scope, but it weighs less than half as much, has no black box, no bulky transducer poles, which means it's an awesome little unit for running and gunning while still being able to fish with live sonar. Now back to those big old perch. Most lakes with fat jumbo perch are either chock full of freshwater shrimp, or they're systems where those perch are cannibals and feed and prey on tiny little perch fry, juvenile perch. But Mille Lacs perch have a different menu.
Basically what these perch are eating out here, they're called isopods or sow bugs. There's a terrestrial version that lives on land. They almost look like a centipede with no legs. And obviously there's a good hatch of them because a lot of these fish are spitting them up. So that has a lot to do with, I think, these fish are being out here on soft bottom, you know?
The meal is not over when I'm full. The meal is over when I hate myself. That's when I...
Thanks, Hayes. Thanks, Sobe. On to number 2. I got a walleye tip for you, and it's an interesting little nugget that I've maybe only heard talked about one other time in about 10 years. It's coming from Mille Lacs guide Kyle Lynn, who is specifically fishing shadows on the dark side of mudflats. So Kyle says, with the morning sun just coming up, it's casting a big shadow. On these mudflats, you can have some 4, 5, 6 foot rises, and we're finding these walleyes are cruising the inside of the mudflats in the shadow. They're not wanting to relate to the sunny side of it. So watch the sun, pay attention to the ledges, and fish the
shadows on the trail.
Which means if the sun rises in the east, then you'd want to be focusing on the western edges of those mudflats for the morning bite. Of course, there's a lot more to mudflats than you might think. They're not nearly as featureless and vacant as you might expect. If you've ever dropped down an underwater camera, you know what I'm talking about. But really, this whole shadow thing is something that could potentially extend bite windows on other lakes too, not just talking about mudflats. Tall standing weeds cast shadows as well. Same thing for steep breaks and drop-offs. Something to keep in mind, a super interesting nugget that I bet you 99% of people don't think about. Be careful though, there's a crazy local out there running up on folks claiming that they're fishing his spot.
Oh, you think darkness is your ally? You merely adopted the dark. I was born in it.
I was sent this next one from Target Walleye fan Jeff Dierenfeld, who said his buddy was up on Lake of the Woods and he hooked a large shiner on a dead stick with the intent of the whole big fish, big bait thing, and, well...
Oh, great heavens!
Did you even notice a walleye in that picture? Because I didn't at first until my eyes focused on the background. That greedy little bugger came in and T-boned that big shiner and was not giving it up. So that, my friends, is how they grow to get so big on Lake of the Woods. I wish all walleyes had that kind of attitude.
Feed me all night long.
Number 4. Check out this picture from Ross Grothy of a 16-inch walleye that had 7 tiny bluegills in its belly. More proof that downsizing isn't always the answer, even when the bite gets midwinter tough. Now, even the smallest baby bluegills would likely dwarf most folks' biggest presentations for ice fishing for walleyes, so don't be afraid to go big or go home and bust out those rattle baits to try to trick them into biting. Your newsfeed has probably been saturated and clustered up with more sappy love posts today than fish pics. Thanks a lot, Valentine's Day. So we're going to switch it up a little bit when Valentine's Day meets fishing. This first one is coming from Akira, who made this awesome Valentine's box of an ice fishing scene with a portable shack popped up, putting fish topside, candy below deck.
Equipped with fish in the hole, couple fish on the ice.
Awesome job, Akira. I absolutely love it. And here's a few other kiddos who probably occasionally get to do their homework while waiting on a rattle reel to sing. Raising them up right. We went with the more traditional Valentine's Day box this year, but it eats up candy just the same. You gonna share that with me later? Maybe? Can I have some? No? What? Rude! That wraps up this week's top 5. A big shout out to Seafoam for keeping us running smooth and making this fun video series possible. If you want more walleye and ice fishing related content like this, sign up for our free Target Walleye emails at targetwalleye.com. We'll see you back in 7.
TargetWalleye.com. I made this for my dad because he loves fishing.
So I guess it's not just candy wrappers crinkling, it's papers, and you just whipped that up just now?
Uh-huh.
You're talented and getting heavy. No offense. All right, good job, baby.